all of the skills that underpin talking are so very important for our children. And actually, even though your child might not be talking as much as you hoped, or they might not be putting words together yet, they might be already learning lots of other skills that are going to help them with their talking. So we've got some different areas of development that can really help children to develop their language skills. So the base of the pyramid, or the base of the mountain, the foundations, really gives children that strength, that knowledge that can help them to move on with their language development. And we're hoping that they're going to become confident communicators. So all around of that mountain, we've got the sunshine of your social interaction and your bond with your baby and your young child's developing. And that should really help your child with all of their skills developing and give them a safe place to start off with for their learning. Right from the word go, when your baby's born, they begin to attend to sounds or to lights going on or off, or faces that they might find familiar. And they also begin to learn how to listen, how to start to block out sounds. And that takes a long time, you can imagine, where at the beginning a child is very distractible, and a baby will just hear a noise, or something might flicker, a light might change, or a shadow might change, and their attention will be drawn to something else. So these attention and listening skills start to develop right from birth, but they're very, very important for language development. And you can see that with children who are finding it difficult to learn language. Sometimes they'll be having difficulties concentrating on one thing at a time. So they might move around when they're playing from one thing to another, just picking something up and tipping it out or dropping it, and then moving on to something else, and not really settling on one thing and being able to interact and hear the language that you're offering when you're interacting. So listening is when a child is able to focus on sounds particularly and exclude the background noise. So being able to really focus on something and listen to something, especially words, is important for learning language. So the next bit up in our mountain is social interaction and play. So again, this is a really strong foundation that we need for children to learn language and to learn how to communicate and interact with others. We need to understand how to take turns, we need to understand how language and adults' interaction with a child can be fun and we can play together. And in the really early days, that might involve just making faces or making noises with your baby, like ba ba ba, ma ma ma. Or it might move on all the way up to playing with a toy together and taking turns rolling a ball, for example, or driving a car along a track or a train along a track together. And maybe even all the way up to something like playing imaginative play and role play with your child, and then they might even be able to try that out with other children too. The next thing that's really important in terms of helping your child learn to talk is that they begin to understand language as well. So when they've started to be able to attend to words and notice that somebody is talking, and that might have some importance because it's fun and they're interacting with you, then they can start to understand what those words mean. When they keep hearing those words in different contexts throughout their day, they start to realise, oh, everybody seems to say mummy when we see that person there. Or if I say mummy, then that's what that means. So if I say, look, there's mummy, then that means that person. So it's that repetition of those words in different ways, in different contexts, that helps a child to begin to understand words. And children can always understand more than they can say. So these are all foundations in our mountain that this child is climbing up to develop their language. So the next part, which is what we're going to focus on in Confident Communicators, is talk or expressive language. And expressive language is the thing that most people notice. So other people will say, oh, is she not talking yet? Or is he talking? When they ask a question and your child doesn't respond, and that's the thing that stands out. But other people might not notice that actually your child is still developing these attention and listening or social interaction or play or understanding language skills, and those are really important to help your child to climb up that mountain towards that talking, that expressive language that we want them to learn. So talk and expressive language begins with very early sounds and then gestures like pointing or reaching for things, and then moves on into words and then joining words together and then making sentences. And right at the tip of our mountain in the snowy part is speech sounds. And that's often the last thing to become clear for children. So they might be talking quite a lot, but it's not very clear. And those speech sounds just get a bit clearer and people can understand more of what they're saying as their speech and language skills develop and their communication skills develop. But in our Confident Communicators sessions, we're going to focus on talk and expressive language, not on speech sounds.